Alright there everybody, Larry Koch here from Brainy Marketing, and today we're going to jump into one of my favorite topics to talk about, and that is messaging. And specifically we're going to talk about my other second favorite topic, which is LinkedIn. So we're going to talk about messaging within LinkedIn. Whether you're just doing it manually or you've got a LinkedIn bot that's kind of automating it for you, you really want to make sure that your LinkedIn messaging strategy is dialed in. And so I'm going to cover 4 things here. Excuse the writing, I've had to sort of scroll a little bit because the lighting is so bright in here that I kind of had to do this sort of baby writing, and so hopefully that won't distract anyone from what I'm trying to say. But these 4 things will give you a full deep dive on exactly how you should be approaching your messaging in LinkedIn. Now, before we kick off in that, if this is your first time to the channel, super fantastic to have you here. Click on subscribe if you're interested in growing your business. We don't do any BS on this channel, no fluff, it's all stuff that works. So, with that being said, let's kick off and show you what I mean with a video on messaging. The first thing I want to advise you guys to do is think about the length of your messaging. So on cold email or direct mail, of course you can send formalized emails that say, dear whoever, they've got like 10 lines and they expand more on what you do. You've got to remember in LinkedIn, you're dealing with a social media platform. So you don't want to be doing that at all. You want to keep your messages down to 3 lines and you want to make it very colloquial. I would also suggest adding in some small punctuation errors, nothing major to make you seem like a driveling fool, because obviously humans make genuine small mistakes. So you want to be very cryptic as well. So think about it. We've all received an in-mail at some point from a web dev agency or someone, and you can tell these things from a mile off. It's a huge sort of scripted message, like 10 lines, dear Mr. X, lines. There's usually some acronyms in there like HTML, PPC, SEO, whatever it is. And as soon as you see those things, you're just instantly switched off. Like, oh my god, this is going to be a very annoying pitch by someone. You'll usually tell because they've got their signature at the bottom, just like in an email. This is a big no-no, guys. You do not want to be doing that. Anybody can tell that from a mile off that is scripted, just, a direct approach. And for some reason, people are particularly turned off on social media. They kind of tolerate it in their email inbox, not so in LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, as I say, you want 2 or 3 lines. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause myself and I'm just going to put up and go through 3 or 4 examples of some really good opening messages that I think work. So I'll see you back in a second. Right, so if necessary, just rewind and check those out some other time. But that's exactly what I mean. Those are the kind of messages, very short, as you can see, they do the job. Now, if you're going to have these sort of small emails, you're going to definitely want to make sure that you are keeping it as tailored as you possibly can. Now, if you're doing this as part of a LinkedIn bot campaign, and if you're interested in LinkedIn bots, which effectively automate your connections and messaging, this initial message, then you can check out some of my other videos. I even have a masterclass where I tell you how you can set up your own LinkedIn bot. There'll be a link in the description. But if you're doing it as part of a manual thing, you've got more flex, you can be very tailored. But if you're doing it as part of a direct approach, you want to really think about how you can make it tailored. So for instance, if you're going after business owners of professional service companies, so like accountancies, law firms, consulting companies, HR consultancies, yada, you want to split it up so that you're sending all your messages to law firms one day and all your messages to accountancies the other day. And you want to reference the industry, you want to have specific, mention specific clients you've worked with from that industry, things like this. If you do have any other info about like the company size or anything like this, that you can actually do that. So for instance, on LinkedIn, that you can segment by how big the company is. So you can say, I work with small accountancy firms to help them generate leads. That's so much more tailored than just I work with all professional services companies. Here's an example of one I've worked with, this. And that sometimes is too hard to relate to on LinkedIn. So if you're very tailored and you're quite colloquial and mysterious, you look human because you have a few punctuation errors and you don't sign off your name or anything like that, you're going to stand a much better chance of getting the attention of someone and really getting them to spark a conversation. That comes up to the third point, which is the follow-up. The strategy I'm outlining now doesn't let you sort of cover all bases. You are just sort of inviting to begin a conversation. So sometimes you can be as cryptic as saying, hey, how are you doing? You can really be that chilled with your first message. And that means that the messages that come back can be all sorts. So you need to make sure that your follow-up is on point, so that you are getting, as soon as you get a follow-up, somebody is replying. Now, a quick little tip here: if you don't have the time to do this for your business, employ an intern or outsource this so they can log into your LinkedIn, and as soon as something comes back, you have sort of pre-scripted answers that they can respond to, and anything else they just leave for you. But what I also mean by follow-ups is if they don't respond to that first message, you want to hit them with a second and a third message. That's the way we typically do it. The second message, you want to be just a link to some kind of valuable asset for them. And the way you want to introduce it is sort of, you time it so that 3 days after the first introductory message, if they haven't replied, you hit them with something like, "Oh, I completely forgot. I meant to send you this report we actually did. I thought you'd find it interesting." And there's just a link to the report. That's it. No sign off again. Just that goes 3 days after. If the person likes what's on the other side of the report, and this could be a case study, this could be an article that you've written that relates to what you want to talk about, they will then see the first message that they ignored the first time again, because it's in the same conversation tree. So if they want to take you up on a call, you don't need to reiterate that you want to have a call. They will then just sort of take you up on that offer. And likewise with the third message, that third message, I wait 2 weeks. If they haven't replied to those first two, I wait 2 weeks after the second message, and I just say, "Hey, I'm actually around your neighborhood," or or you say something like, "I tried calling your office, but they said you weren't in. Are you up for a chat this week?" So you make it sound as if you're doing something in real life, IRL. So that again helps you pass the Turing test and makes them think that you're actually a real person and not a bot. Of course, if you are a real person, then fantastic, kudos to you. The fourth last thing linked to all this is use a CRM. It's hard in LinkedIn to get enough time to message directly. So ideally, you want to get people into a nurturing program. Once you're connected with somebody on LinkedIn, once they've accepted that, and you've been messaging them for a while, maybe the conversation goes cold. Fair enough. Because they've messaged you quite a few times, you can assume you have some legitimate interest from them. So if you don't happen to jump on a call, they just kind of go cold, grab their email address from their LinkedIn profile, put it in your CRM system, tag them properly along, like what kind of persona they are, what segment they are, what industry they are, what job title, whatever is important to you. And then you can set up automated email follow-ups with great content, and eventually some call to actions to maybe book a call with your team or something like that. That is all of my tips that I have for messaging. I want you to keep it short. I want you to keep it tailored. I want you to follow up really quickly, and if nobody replies, then I want you to follow up in an automated way for at least the next 2 weeks. Because people get busy, LinkedIn's hard, they need to get back on. You can jog their memory, it's no problem with that, and get them into a CRM if the trail goes dead. If you follow those 4 things, you're going to have a great time messaging on LinkedIn, and you'll probably get triple what you would get out just doing the formatted one-hit wonder that we see so many people unfortunately doing on the internet today. Great, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you like it, smash the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. You'll always get my latest videos. As I say, another video coming out really soon, and every week I'm posting 2 of these. So keep tuned, take care. Hey there, brainy marketers. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you found it useful, do us a favor and like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video on all of your social media channels. So go ahead and do all those things, and we'll see you for the next video. Cheers.